Welcome to Dirty Fanatics United.
And fans, Falcon Nation, welcome to Dirty Fanatics United. If you're new to the channel, hit that like button, leave a comment, be sure to subscribe. It is Dirty Fanatics United. I am your co-host tonight, C Money, founder of DFU, bringing you your Falcon content as we do on the daily here at DFU. If you would, man, please subscribe over on the YouTube channel. Glad to have each and everybody here tonight as the Falcons fly home with a W. Cardinals recap here tonight with DFU. Head over to YouTube, hit that subscribe button at Dirty Fanatics United. Easy, free, one click, all it takes to be subscribed here to the channel. We got our first comment in the comment section from Soundwave_Nick26 says, yo, can I join? Soundwave, hit the comment section up. Let me know what you want to talk about tonight. And if it is reasonable and respectful enough for DFU, I'll be sure to drop the link in the comment section to get you in here to talk some Falcon football. Falcon fans, the Atlanta Falcons find a way to win today in Carolina, in Arizona, as the Falcons fly back home 26-19 with a W. Falcons with the season record at 6-9 today as they find a way to win today's game. Some dominant performance again today from Kyle Pitts, being that somewhat number one receiver as Drake London finds his feet back in this game. Kirk Cousins with 21 passes, 35 passes, 21 completions, 197 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 1 sack, with a passer rating of 82.9. Not too bad of a game for Kirk Cousins. Would have loved to see that interception brought back. Tip pass, I believe it was, for them to be able to grab that ball. Tyler Algier getting his mix today in the run game with 16 carries for 79 yards. Bijan with 16 carries, 76 yards. So an overall average game today for both running backs. We said earlier in the year, if you're able to find the ball to Tyler Algier for more than 8 carries throughout a game, you seem to win those games. So what a dominant performance as far as offensively. You scored 26 points today. You didn't reach that 30-point mark that we were hoped to reach today, but the Falcons ultimately find a way to win today in a hostile environment in Arizona. Your first win that you do win in Arizona since 2001. The Atlanta Falcons not breaking playoff records, but breaking records in the regular season as they do find a way to win in a hostile environment. Bijan Robinson, 7 receptions for 92 yards. Kyle Pitts, 7 for 57 yards. Drake London, 3 catches, 8 targets, 3 catches for 27 yards. Darnell Mooney with 2 targets, 2 catches for 24 yards. Charlie Warner, 1 for 3. Jake Matthews, a name that you don't hear in the receiving end of situations. Jake Matthews with a target today. Ultimately did not catch that ball. Would have wound up being a touchdown for the Atlanta Falcons. Was not able to walk away with that touchdown pass. David Sills, 1 target, 0 for 0 yards. So your third string receiver, your slot receiver, whatever you want to call it, David Sills, had a big game Thursday night. That was not the predicament for tonight, to see David Sills come away with 0 receptions. We talked about it in the previous shows. Could you see more Chris Blair? Could you see more Nick Nash leading off into the ending of the season? As me and my guy David spoke about last, I think it was Friday night, me and David went live, spoke about, could you see a more Chris Blair situation? Could you see more Nick Nash situation? Now you see a game where David Sills has 1 target, 0 receptions, 0 yards. Could it be the time for a Nick Nash elevation, a Chris Blair elevation here towards the end of the season? 2 games left. You will face the LA Rams next week at home, and then you play the New Orleans Saints at home as well. You have 2 wins on the season this year in the bins. A must win if Raheem Morris and this regime wants to carry on what they have shaken here in Atlanta. Zach Robinson with an okay type of scheme today. Not a very explosive game for the Atlanta Falcons, as you were hoped to see against a 3-win team. You do advance the score, your record, to a 6-9 team. Now, you win the last 2 games. You finish the season off with the same exact record as last year. I think personally, in Arthur Blank's eyes, that is enough to bring back the same personnel, the same coaching staff, the same genre here in Atlanta. You didn't see a great defensive play today. The defense allowed 19 yards. Granted that there were some plays where, the interception, which gave them decent field position to have a decent scoring attack. James Pierce Jr. comes away with half of a sack today. Honore Vachetti with a full sack. And I believe the other sack was the half of the sack that JPJ got with Brandon Dolores. So you're still stacking those sacks as you get towards the end of the season. Would have loved to see more sacks today against the Jacoby Brissett. We have another coast here in the background ready to talk some Falcon football. My guy David pulling up after the W, ready to talk some Falcon football. David, what's going on, brother? Glad to have you here tonight, as you have been on the road this whole weekend. Hope the daughter did well in the basketball tournament. Glad to have you here tonight to talk some Falcon football, man. How are you feeling after the 26-19 dub against the Arizona Cardinals?
We'll definitely take it. We'll definitely take it. There's left some meat on the bone, but we can't at this point. We can't split hairs about how they win. We got to win, and that's all that counts. Definitely some things that we can pick apart about what they did, but definitely will take the win.
Definitely, I'll take a W when it's been the type of season that it's been, David. If you come across any kind of W, it's a good night for Falcon fans. Falcons find a way to win tonight, 26-19, in a place that you haven't won since 2001, David. I did not realize personally that it had been that long since the Falcons had won in Arizona. Now the Falcons snapped that with a win today. We were talking about stats, David, before you got situated and got here for the show. Kyle Pitts with another productive day today. 1 touchdown on the game, 7 receptions, only 9 targets for 57 yards. Kyle Pitts racking up that contract signing. David, your thoughts on the production of the offense as a whole unit today? Tyler Algier, Bijan Robinson, both with 16 carries. Tyler finishing off the day with 79 yards. Bijan Robinson finishing off the day with 76 rushing yards. But when it came to passing game, Bijan Robinson, 7 receptions for 92 yards. Your thoughts on the overall performance of this Atlanta Falcons offense?
That's what I thought that we would see from Tyler and Bijan. Split carries. Pretty much that's what we would see from the carry aspect for Bijan, but then definitely using him as a weapon in the passing game. Is how I saw them using Tyler. I don't think that we've used Tyler enough this year. I think that the thunder and lightning type situation with them was going to be the best course of action for us. But we'll take it. Hopefully, we can get some grace from Tyler, and the signing this off season. Kind of don't see him coming back, but definitely think that he's a bat that can be productive with the number of touches that you give him. I don't think that he has to be satisfied with the number of touches he's gotten with the Falcons. But then coming out in the passing game was good to see Pitts get going. We'll have liked to see Drake, with a few more opportunities and converting on some of the passes that we did go to him. The interception from Cousins definitely would have gone on the receiver. Pitts. London slips down and then the ball goes straight to the defender. So
That's right.
Overall, a steady day. Zach did enough to keep the offense moving. Good game.
Good game all around. As we stated, you walked away with a W. What really matters of today's game. You spoke about Drake London for a little minute, getting more opportunities. Drake London today with 8 targets, but only 3 receptions on today's game. It has been a 4-game long streak without Drake London. He did, however, put up 27 yards today with an average of 9 yards per catch. I want to get to the comment sections here before we get too far into it. My guy Ricky Smith tuning in with it said, "What's good, fam?" Ricky, glad to have you here tonight, brother. Hit that like button. See you bright and early in the morning, brother. My guy Soundwave Nick still wants to get on the podcast, David, but you kind of killed me, Soundwave, with this comment here. That kind of killed my whole vibe with the Duval. Ricky said, "Bro, we gonna be -1 game." LOL, bro. It's been that type of season, bro. Like you have the great games and you have the games where it's like, what are we doing? And today was kind of on that fence line of, what are we doing? Like when it got David, when you started the game off, the Falcons were initially down 10-0 in the first quarter. The botch kick from the kickoff, you let them get the ball on the 40-yard line. They only complete one first down that drive, but initially it's enough to get them in field goal range to take the 3-point advantage on the Atlanta Falcons. Then you go 10-0 down. I thought was great coverage by Kobe Bryant, but once again, one of those crazy catches against Kobe Bryant in the touchdown area. Initially takes the lead 10-0. Then you go down the field and you do score a touchdown, but the field goal is blocked. Tough going there for Gonzalez. As he had a great game today. He was 2 for 2 when it came to field goals. I think his longest today was a 50-yarder. So Gonzalez, I think, has probably locked himself in for next year. My boy, Georgia, Texas boy in the chat with us said, "What's up, DFU family? I was live at the game and watched our Falcons win. Glad to see it. Glad to hear it, brother. Rise up.
Yeah.
Glad you were able to come home with a W as the Falcons defeat the Arizona Cardinals 26-19. Sterling Wood says, "Do you think the special teams is doing better these last 2 games?" David, I'll let you answer that question. Special teams, they did just release James Agnew before the game, or Jamal Agnew before the game. He is no longer part of the Atlanta Falcons. They did bring up C.J. Henderson to play cornerback role as A.J. did kind of get banged up towards the end. C.J. Henderson with the big interception to win the game. Your thoughts on special teams unit this past 2 games, how they performed in your aspect of how they did perform earlier in the season?
Oh, definitely better than early in the season. We haven't been mumbling and complaining about any big plays given up in the special teams. So if we're not complaining about them, I guess they're doing the job. You're gonna have some situations like the block field goal from none other than the former Falcon Calais Campbell.
C.
Come
Campbell,
in.
baby.
But yeah, that he's done that. But definitely would like to have seen that not happen. But otherwise, I think that we did have a solid day. I can't think of any major blunders in the special teams today. So I guess that would be a good day from the special teams. If if nothing stands out in your head, I think that's a good day from the special teams.
One aspect of the special team, Sterling Woods, and this is me just answering your question, that I could say question mark was when Tompkins almost ran the ball out on a deep kickoff, and he's like, knees down, is like, then you hear the announcers talking, well, did the ball cross the line, or the Falcons down at the 1-yard line? And it's like, not again. As they stated, the Falcons have found a way to lose these close games in the ends, like in the fourth quarter of those games where you just simply hurt yourself. That was not the case today.
Yeah, 43 one-score games since 2022 is the stat that I threw in the group chat today, and that's crazy. That's crazy. That we've never been a bad team, but we've never been a team that's able to get over the hump since. That's crazy. We're played just enough, just good enough to be mediocre. We're not going to get a super draft pick, and we're not going to make the playoffs. We always right there in between because we're right on the borderline of being a good team that we're going to be competitive. We're going to give the fans just enough to
keep them coming back every
we
Sunday.
We in and out. But one play here, one play. That's me. I'm always a silver lining type fan. That I was like, well, if this had went right, we'll win 11 games. Like we're on the borderline of being a 10 or 11 win team right now.
That's right.
With a couple of breaks here and there, we're 11 win team. Yeah, that's the frustrating part.
Yeah, the
So
number alone over 40, David. One possession games is crazy. Since 2022, am I correct? That was what
fo-
your
fo-
stats.
40 counting today, 43 one win, one possession game since 2022.
That is
So
crazy. I
that's
want to give
that's
a
enough.
shout out. I want to give a real big shout out to all the Twitter viewers, man. We go over 22 live viewers on Twitter right now. Shout out to everybody that's on Twitter. Please, 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 please head over to Dirty Fanatics United over on YouTube, man. We'd be great to have you part of the DFU crew here. You guys ring the bell, knowing we drop content as we have shown you tonight. We go live after every game, no matter if it's a 4 o'clock game, an 8 o'clock game, or a 1 o'clock game. DFU is bringing you content, whether it's a win or a loss. If the Falcons lose today, guess what? We're hopping on here live tonight and talking
Mm.
about why the Falcons lost today. Sterling Wood with another comment says, Bates was on it today, covering that tight end. Jesse Bates did great today against McBride. The comment was from Cody earlier in the group chat about, where has Bates been all season? And it's been a topic that I talked about, earlier on in the season, like where has Jesse Bates been this year? Jesse Bates answered that call today against McBride. McBride, the only tight end I believe it was, they said, for 5 receptions in the last however odd amount of games this season to have 5 receptions. And Jesse Bates held him right under that number at 4 today, and they were not big gains by Jesse Bates. So shout out to Jesse Bates for that good coverage. I think, David, I'll talk about defensively here in a minute, but I want to give you your chance to, because when I seen the score, when I was at a Christmas party, mind you, I didn't see every snap of the game. I was opening presents, watching TV, interacting with family, watching TV. So it was like, just your overall thoughts today when it comes to defensively, how our defense played today against a 3-win team, the Arizona Cardinals.
Only did enough to win. I thought with 3-win teams, I thought that, we come in and have a dominant performance. I thought that we have, our edge rushers feasting on Jacoby Brissett. But again, that didn't happen.
Yeah,
Brissett, he's always been a crafty quarterback that can get out of the pocket, make some plays. But, the hope for me was thinking that, we come in and have about, 5, 6 tackles, have a big day from our rookie edge rushers and stuff. Pierce get a couple of sacks to get him over the double-digit mark, but you know, still end up doing enough to win, and we'll take it.
that's right. Anytime you get a W, man, you got to take
Yeah.
it. As we said in the group chat, ugly W, but I'll take it. Speaking on total stats today, so we can talk about defense all night because I'm sure Falcon fans, bring your topics, please. Bring your comments. What do you want to talk about tonight? Leave it in the comment section. We'll be sure to address that. Ricky, Sterling, Gator Boy, buddy at the top of the screen, that's a Duval fan. Soundwave, bring your comments to the question or your questions to the comment section tonight because we'll be glad to talk about it. We'll definitely hit that topic and bring it out between me and David here. Team stats for tonight's game, David, the Falcons went for 342 total yards to Arizona's 320. Not so great of a defensive play today. As you stated, you did enough to win today's game. Passing yards, the Falcons go for 190 against the Cardinals, 186. Rushing yards, we went for 152 against the Cardinals, 132. We were 4.7 yards per play. They were 5.7. First downs. Now, this is the big kicker. We were able to get 24 first downs to their 16. Third down efficiency, David, we were pretty even with the Cardinals. We went 7 for 14. They went 7 for 13. Fourth down efficiency, we were 2 for 5. We went for it 5 times today, David, and converted twice. We had a total of 73 plays to their 56. We allowed 1 sack. They allowed 2 sacks. They punted the ball once. We punted the ball 0 times today, which is hard to believe. Penalty-wise, we had 4 for 20 yards. They had 5 for 14. We fumbled the ball once today. We threw 1 interception, and our time of possession was 35.34 to their 24.26. We had 30 tackles to their 32. We were 2 for 2 on field goals, and we were 3 for 3 today, David, in the red zone for their 0-2. Red zone offense, following that stat line that they stated we had against the Seahawks. Falcons are number 1 in red zone offense. You didn't see that against the Seahawks. You kind of started seeing that create back against the Buccaneers. You were able to put up points against a divisional opponent. today you go 3 for 3 in the red zone, David. This falls back on Zach Robinson. When you talk about red zone efficiency, a problem the Falcons have had for quite a while now. Now the Atlanta Falcons ranking in the top 10 in red zone efficiency. Is that, credits to Zach Robinson, of course, but just your overall thoughts on that this season with the way it's went. 6 games, W's, 9 L's. As we stated before, you're easily 10 game winning team. Just your thoughts on the overall red zone efficiency and how well that that Zach Robinson is probably coaching himself into another year here in Atlanta.
Oh man. Oh, that's a little scary, I don't dislike Zach, as a person, but when's the last time we put up 30 points in a game?
It's been a
I
while.
thought that I thought today would have been a 30-point
Yeah.
comfortable win.
Yeah.
And here we are in another dog fight with a 3-win team. That's not didn't all fall on Zach. It falls on, he did put up 26 points today,
26 and
29,
19. Yep.
26 points today. Defense, I know it was just a block game. It was a
Yeah, it
game
was.
that we're there and we did just enough that we did just enough to win. Did just nothing sensational other than Bijan. It shows why Bijan is the best player in the league in my
Yeah,
opinion.
absolutely.
And I think you made a comment today that one of the guys made a comment today that you feel sorry for Tyler Algier because he's a good player playing behind the best player in the league, and that's why he can't get on the field. But Zach, he has weapons to use. He utilized him today. Still got Pitts into the game on the move,
Hmm.
like I stated in our
Yep.
last broadcast. Stop all the button hooks and try to get him the ball in space and moving because he's a big target. And I think or after the catch, I think he hurt a couple of of the
Yeah.
Seattle
Yeah.
defensive backs trying to tackle him. That's a big kid, and he can catch the ball and get him on the move, and he's a much better target than doing the button hooks and try to you know get him the ball and then get up the field. So he's using. I think he's seeing that, and he's using Pitts a little bit better. And Bijan, like I said, Bijan is Bijan. Um,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. He's
yeah,
he's ungodly what Bijan does for this offense. I mean, not only in the running game, over 70 yards in the running game, he even gets you 78 or I think it was 90 something yards today in the
90.
receiving yard. Your top receiver today was your running back that still produced
Right.
76 yards on the ground. Bijan Robinson with another great game today. Robert over on YouTube says Zach's playing subpar when we have a lead. That has been the problem all season, Robert. And I'll agree with you 100%. There's been times where you're like, foot on the gas. You get the lead, we're hitting the brakes. We're not putting up that 30-point score as David explained today should have been
Yeah.
the day. And you went 2 drives today, David, out of halftime where you were 10 play drives.
Mhm.
10 play drives, and you could have put up another touchdown that last, I think it was 8 play drive. You end up settling for, I believe it was I think we field goal or we went for.
Yeah.
I don't remember because we didn't punt
Yeah.
today at all. So, as Robert states here, he said it's play calling. Play calling has a lot to do with it when it comes to putting up that 30 piece. So,
Question.
go ahead, Dave.
I know you probably had that on your list to ask, but I'm going to bring it up now since we're talking about the play calling.
Mhm.
What are we going to do with Kirk Cousins? Because he's, you know, he's showing just enough to move this offense, and him and Zach seem like they have a much better rhythm than he did with Penix.
That's right.
And so what are we gonna do? That's gonna be the question of the off season that is gonna be on the mind of every Falcon fan, every podcaster, every sports analyst that's talks Falcon football. What are we gonna do with Kirk Cousins? Because he's showing that he can still lead the offense, and I know it's gonna be frustrating for a lot of Falcon fans, but it's gonna have to be a decision made about what we're gonna do with Kirk Cousins. Because, like I said, Penix, he'll be just getting really back on his feet when the season starts, and it's either gonna be Kirk Cousins or Michael Penix, in my opinion. And you know, do we pay him
David,
another
I
year?
think so these last 2 games are your last 2 home games, right? You got 2 wins in the dome, or I should say Benz, not dome. You got 2 wins in the Benz. Both those wins come from Penix, correct? I
Yeah,
don't think
yeah,
one came from Kirk. 2 of those wins are from
yeah.
Penix. Could Kirk Cousins finish off the season against a tough LA team that just lost on Monday night or Thursday night, whatever it may be?
Thursday night.
Thursday night,
Thursday night. Yeah.
coming into the Benz, looking for that bounce back W in a close NFC race to get that top seed. So that to me, David, tells the tall tale of what the Atlanta Falcons do with Kirk Cousins. If Kirk Cousins even immensely produces a great or good game against a playoff top seed defender like the LA Rams, I think Terry Fontenot's got the 50 mil check wrote out, baby.
Ooh.
I think it's wrote out, and I mean, you look at the stats today with Kirk Cousins, he had 35 passes, 21. Now, this is the big number here, David, and it's been a thing for Kirk since he's came in, other than the Miami game. Seattle game wasn't too hot, so you've had 2 bad games for Kirk since he's and the Miami was a midweek call up for Kirk Cousins. So I'll throw one bad week for Kirk Cousins, which was the Steelers. A lot of drop passes that week as well.
Seattle.
Yes, that's right, Seattle. So your passer rating today was 82.7. Your passer rating last week was 90-ish, 90 somewhere in there. So here's the thing. You ride it out with Kirk Cousins. You let Penix heal up. If Kirk Cousins is winning football and you're an NFC South leader at the point that Penix is healthy, I think you ride it out with Kirk.
Yeah, I think I saw a podcast today where it was saying that we're going into it was 92. I hate them, but 92 9. They were saying that, if we sit Penix next year and let Kirk have another year and let Penix get healthy, we're going into year 4 with a number 8 high first round draft pick. Haven't touched the field, really. But like I said, can't say he touched the field because he's played pretty much all this year.
Right.
And then I did see that, Jordan Love didn't play until his 3rd year.
Jordan rode the bench for a minute, bro.
Yeah, so like saying, it's you have to either hit hard on the quarterback because they don't give the quarterbacks time to develop anymore. High draft choice with Love. They sit him behind Aaron Rodgers and let him sit there and learn the game. And then we're too eager and too hungry to thrust these young quarterbacks into on the field. Like even a year ago, we were ready to run Bryce Young out the league, and now he's pretty much going to win the division this year. So it's a lot to be said about being patient and developing these kids and stuff and give them the choice. We see that he has an arm, he has the talent to deliver the ball. So I don't see why we're in such a hurry to Penix is not it. We need to draft a quarterback again this year. Tank for Archie Manning is what I've heard all this kind of stuff. So it gets to be crazy to me, man.
Yeah, I seen a post that was like, well, Archie Manning's not that great of a quarterback, but the NFL allows Mannings to win Super Bowls. And I'm like, come on, bro. Like,
it gets to be crazy.
So it's like, I mean, I agree with you, David. It's to a point where, you're not at that full rebuild position, but you are at a crossroads of where, I mean, you seen it last night, David. We spoke about it in the group chat. Malik Willis played decent ball last night.
Mm.
So it's all about how you draft and how you coach these kids up. I mean, when it comes to Penix, I stated in the group chat last night, we have a serious QB coach problem in Atlanta.
Yeah, and then my comment right behind you is that don't forget that Matt LaFleur is calling his plays. So
Exactly.
He's supposed to be under the McVay in the McVay tree.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think then LaFleur is supposed to be out the Shanahan tree.
That's right.
So yeah, we had we have to go back to coaching. We had all these great offensive minds in the
building.
house in Atlanta.
In the building, bro.
In the building, and all of them are in the other places flourishing and offenses looking 100 times better than the Falcons have looked in years. So,
Yeah.
that's we're
I
crying over
said
spilt milk right now.
I said for a doubt if Arizona beat the Falcons today, Raheem Morris could go ahead and start packing his bags.
Yeah.
And then the Falcons find a way to win today's game. And I'm looking at my brother Philip. Shout out to Philip. I think he's putting Christmas gifts together or something right now. So don't forget the
Yeah.
boat and the steering wheel, Philip. But
Mhm.
it comes to a point where it's like, what do you do this offseason? Like you have players still playing for coaches. You have coaches still coaching to win games. You have late cuts like Jamal Agnew that I think should have been done 5 weeks ago. You get a new kick returner. You start bringing up Chris Blair last week. David Seals today with 0 catches. It's like, what is the initial move when it gets to the offseason? The Falcons are out of the playoff run. We all know this. Every Falcon fan watching this now knows that there's no chance. You're out of the playoffs. You're playing for nothing now except to see what you have and growth and coaching and who you're bringing back next season. The news breaks that Braylon Trice won't play a snap again for 2 years now in a row. Troy Anderson has played maybe 10 games out of his whole career here in Atlanta. Zach Harrison was placed on IR as well. You won't see him the remainder of the season. He's back because he was back on he's still in a contract. He had a 4-game sack. I mean, he was actually leading the Falcons in sacks one time this season. So it's like there's so much that we don't know that could happen this offseason. But David, when it comes to the Kirk Cousins situation, when it comes to that quarterback position, who do we bring back? Who do we give Kirk Cousins a $50 million? Does Terry even have a job next year? Does Raheem Morris even have a job next year?
All the players' names that you've named, none of it make a difference if you don't get the number one position on the team situated. If you don't have the quarterback in place, no matter how good the defense is, no matter how good your skilled players are that we have, if we don't fix and have a definite plan at the quarterback position, we're going to be sitting here in late November, early December, with the same frustrations and everything that we're going through next year. But like I said, we're a 7-9 team that, or a 7-10 team that
6-9, 6-9.
Well, I'm talking about from last
Oh
year.
yeah, absolutely.
That came into the season that we had high expectations, and that this team was going to turn the corner, and we're here at the
Back
end
in
of
the
the
same position.
season, back in the same position that we're one position away. In building the Falcons team, talking to some of my friends, how do we do it? Do you draft the quarterback and then fill it all in all the other positions? No. I like how they built the team. They put all the pieces in place: a good offensive line, great skills position, a good enough defense, and then you fix the quarterback position. And then but we didn't get the quarterback position right, so that's why we're in the situation that we're in
Yeah.
right now. Not saying that it's not the right situation, but I think
At this
that
point, yeah.
the plan was right. Plan was in place that Kurt go last year and this year, and Penix sits and develops. But the injury to Kurt at the end of the last year has kind of derailed the plan, because like I said, if Kurt had started was a quarterback for all this year, I do think that we are a couple of wins better than we are right now, at least.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the injury in the Saints game last year, and he tried to tough his way through there and made him look bad. That okay, we're gonna go with the rookie. You put the rookie in, and you can't go backwards on the plan.
And
So
see,
that's
David,
what's
when you brought in the rookie there, heading into offseason, something that I kind of kept to myself and didn't express it a lot because, I had high hopes for Penix. Maybe my hopes were too high for Penix because, he came out and played meaningful football towards the end of the season. There was a game when you played against Washington. If you beat Washington, you're in the possibility of making the playoff race. You end up losing that game. Yeah, but perfect.
He played just good enough
Yeah.
to not go back to Kirk Cousins to start the season, and that's what the problem was. We say everybody saw the potential that he had, the rocket arm, and okay, we got something we can build on. But it wasn't the time for it. Yeah, I said that he had to sit 2 years behind Kirk Cousins to
Yeah.
absorb the NFL and figure it out. And
See,
then,
my pops was my pops, diehard Falcon fan, been doing this thing since 1980, 70, whenever it may have been that he was watching the Birds. And he said, I think the biggest move that the Atlanta Falcons, or the biggest problem the Atlanta Falcons will have this offseason, is going ahead and giving that starting job to Penix. He said that, you never give a quarterback that starting job. It should have been initiated that Kirk Cousins and Penix would battle for that position. Coming into the offseason, David, it was so hardly Penix's position. Even when Raheem Morris went to press conferences, that's Penix's job.
Penix's job. It's Penix's starting quarterback.
Yeah.
He was anointed the position. Like I'm saying, it was, I think that the best course of action was 2 years when they made the contract. It was structured and set up perfectly. 2 years guaranteed money, and then we had to out this coming season. It should have been, and if Kurt was playing, good enough football that we're a playoff caliber team. Okay, then you have to make a decision on was the money too much to go forward with him, and we're gonna go ahead with the third year player Michael Penix that he was drafted. It was drafted to be his job with the high draft choice, but I think it was a 2 year sit, and then he takes the job in the third season. And the plan, folded up with injury, and like I said, you can't fault Fontenot because I think everything was set up perfect, but like I'm saying, the injury kind of derailed everything and the whole thought process was that.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. If you like right now, if you're winning the NFC South or you're in that mix up of somehow winning the division, then we don't even have this topic about Penix, not being ready, and then you had the injury midseason. A lot of Falcon fans, David, and I'm sure you've seen your fair share of Falcon fans on Twitter and Facebook, were highly against the Penix draft pick because of the college injuries, the two ACL surgeries to the right leg, now your third to his left, which was a partial tear, still ended up missing the rest of this season and start of next season, which, and I put this banner up there every podcast. So everybody that's viewing in now, this isn't something new. This isn't me hating Penix or saying Penix isn't the franchise quarterback, but do you still believe Penix is the franchise quarterback when it comes to injuries, when it comes to based off the play that you've seen this season, a 30-0 goose egg in Carolina? Now, I'm not saying the coaching staff has helped Penix out at all because the coaching staff has not been so great itself this season. You see the change of play when Kirk comes in. You see a lot more play action, bootleg, Kirk under center. It was so hardly a pistol offense when Penix was at the helm of the offense, David. And it was like, why?
I don't understand it. I don't understand it because, what is the skill set that, Penix moves better than Kirk, even with the knee injuries and stuff. So what was the issue with him, being on the center? I don't know why it's such a different
David,
offense.
if Falcon fans would just go back and Google Michael Penix's first career NFL start, majority of that offensive scheme is from under center against the New York Giants at home, and looked phenomenal as he did it all through college.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, he played multiple different styles in college, and I don't see where he cannot play on center. But I don't know what's the I know that the majority of the plays that NFL team runs is probably out of the shotgun. But I think the pistol, like saying everything is the pistol, is the biggest difference because that puts the running back maybe 4 more yards away from the line of scrimmage, and by the time you get to the line,
it's crowded
I
up.
don't know.
I don't know, but David, it's definitely a topic we're going to probably talk about on this podcast a million more times before we actually know if Kirk gets that signing bonus, who is released, who's available in the offseason. Because you slip up and get a Sam Darnold in the free agency, as when nobody's seen him leaving the Vikings last year. Now here he is, 11-4 with the Seattle Seahawks. It's never unheard of somebody hitting free agency. So there's always that one shocker that happens in the offseason. As you know, the Falcons signing Kirk Cousins was the shocker 3 years ago.
Mhm.
Now we're in the position that we're in.
But Falcons fans, every time a quarterback that has a good game, we can't start feasting on them. I've
At all.
seen posts today. How much would it cost to sign Malik Willis? Every
Oh,
every time every time somebody has a good game, the Falcons quarterback, that we need to go out and get them. But that's some of the stuff is just for humor on my part. But
yeah.
every time a player has a good game, and like when Calais Campbell blocked the field goal. I'm quite sure that I'm gonna find a post somewhere
Yeah.
on Facebook tomorrow that says, "Why did we let Calais Campbell go?" So,
Yep, absolutely. Even though he's like
yeah,
one leg out the door on retirement.
yeah.
But yeah, I agree, David. That's you hit the nail on the head with until you get that position right, you're never gonna be that playoff team. You're gonna continue missing the
Hmm.
playoffs as it's been stated, since Matt Ryan. Like Falcon fans wanted Matty Ice out of here.
Yeah,
There was games where I was like, all right, maybe it is time for number two to hang it up. Maybe it's time to get up out the field. But Falcon fans really didn't understand how great they had it when Matty Ice ran this offense here in Atlanta. And we'll get back to that. I truly believe we'll get back to that team because I really think we're only missing that one position, David, is finding the right
yeah,
play caller that fits your offensive scheme, getting the right quarterback at the helm of this offense, and a few key pieces when it comes to receiving core, when it comes to cornerback depth. Maybe you can afford to get another linebacker. You're like 3 to 4 spots out, David, that I don't think you couldn't get grabbing an offseason. But you got to hit it
yeah.
right.
I'll
You got to
say.
hit it on the head. Like,
So what's your second round pick? We probably be around in the 10 to 12 range, picking in the second round. So what's the Falcons' first round pick? Second
all
round
right,
pick. I'm
so
saying we.
if I'm going off of what I've seen this year, I think we talked about free agency. We talked about some of the big names that you could grab in free agent as far as linebackers, some of the bigger name cornerbacks that'll hit free agency this year. You got a little bit of money to spend. This year, your biggest problem has been receiver production. Other than Kyle Pitts or Drake London, your biggest issue has been who can catch the ball other than Drake London? Who can get open other than Drake London? Mooney keeps dropping passes. Mooney can't get open. Mooney keeps fumbling the ball. My second round pick, whether it's 10 or 12, I'm drafting a top receiver that somehow slipped out of the first round and makes it to your Atlanta Falcons team, a guy that you can coach to be a number two beside Drake London, because I wholeheartedly believe Mooney has seen his way out the door in Atlanta. Kyle Pitts gets a signing contract. If it's not a contract, he gets the free agency tag or the franchise tag. You find a way to keep Kyle Pitts. You draft the receiver. You already got your running back. You may have to pick up a backup when it comes to Tyler Algier because I think a team offers more than we can compete with when it comes to that position. But another position, David, that a lot of people may bust my head for saying this. If there's a top tackle that slides out the first round, you make that selection.
Yeah, I think that I don't know how much money we'll save. Jake is long in the tooth, so I would agree with that. It's kind of time to kind of get a succession plan for him. Because he's I think he has regressed to a point that it's time to start thinking about him.
Yep.
Definitely agree that second round pick needs to go to the receiver position. Definitely didn't get production for number two at all. Mooney, I think we saved about around 15 plus million next year. We don't resign him, so I definitely think that money will be put back to the salary cap. With that, then let's see. You said cornerback. C.J. Henderson is on the comeback
Yep.
trail. He
Yep.
got to.
He
So
did. Game
yeah,
winning
he's on.
interception.
The young man's gonna reclaim his career in Atlanta.
I'd love to see it. Hey,
Everything's
believe it or not, David, believe it or not, CJ Henderson was my pick before AJ Terrell.
well, yeah. A lot of us was
Him,
kind
I
of
mean,
going
Okuda
back and
as
forth.
well. Like,
Yeah, all three of them were, who is the pick right here? I
yep,
think we, out of the three, we did hit the right one with
that's
AJ.
right.
But
Yep.
like I said, everybody deserves a second chance, and hopefully, we got him in the house, and like I said, his pedigree is there. He was a terrific cornerback in college, and hopefully for the Falcons, that like what I just said is going to come to pass. That young
I
man
love to
can,
see it.
go on the other side and make us forget about the Natron Brooks and all of those
Shit.
having to play corn. Play. I saw him on the field today, and I almost had a had a had a fit. I was like, please
Hey,
no,
just keep
but.
that white guy off the field
Uh,
that wears number 40. Just keep him off the field. Good God.
oh man, oh,
Bertrand.
yeah,
Come on, man.
we're not gonna bash them, but some of these practice squad players have really kind of hurt us going forward. No, but
Yes.
when you're dealing with a lot of injuries like we have, those are the kind of players that you're gonna have to stomach going on to the field. But those are special team players that that's their role, and when they have to go on the field and line up. Kobe Bryant against Mike Evans,
Yeah, yeah.
that's what he's gonna get.
I think
You know,
Kobe they didn't cut Kobe no slack today at all. As soon as he missed that touchdown coverage, it was like get him off the field. But I think Kobe did pretty well today. There
yeah,
was that one play, another unfortunate touchdown pass for I mean, he had great coverage on that ball, dude. It's just like that's 2 weeks in a row now that just it hasn't worked to his favor. Like,
yeah. How tall is he? 5'9",
yeah, he's not
five
very tall. He's
five
like
ten.
five
Yeah,
5'10" at the tallest. Yeah,
yeah. He looks like he's outmatched with these bigger receivers like Wilson and Evans. But
yeah,
like I
yeah.
said, he has a little scrap to him though.
Oh yeah,
If I don't see how what angle that they didn't show on the review that made them overturn it from an incompletion to a catch. I really don't see.
yeah, yeah.
I haven't seen an angle yet that says that the ball didn't hit the ground because the ball disappears and then you know,
Yep.
you can guess that it comes, but that
Never what they
yeah,
say, David. Not
it
enough
it,
clear
it
evidence to overturn the call
yeah.
on the field.
But that's not how they officiate the Atlanta Falcons for some reason. So
Yeah,
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 absolutely.
yeah.
I agree, David. This is off topic, and we're getting ready to close the podcast out. We're 10 minutes from the hour mark. Crazy to believe we've been talking here for an hour. But if
No.
you had to say, looking at the NFL in a whole this season, if you had to pick one team, whether that be NFC or AFC, if you had to pick one team to win it all, which way are you leaning right now?
Oh man, like saying just the parity of the league right now is how the commissioner would want it because now it's not just the clear cut winner. You're going to have a lot of teams that are, you can call a lot of names
Mhm.
that you think can win. I think that the Broncos have a chance. I think the Patriots have a chance. In the NFC, it definitely a toss up because you don't have the clear cut favorite out of the NFC. So
Yeah,
I can't pick it. I wouldn't.
there's so many, dude.
There's not a team I would bet on. If you say it like
Right,
that,
right, right.
it's just
Absolutely.
no
Because
clear
I mean,
cut.
it's wishy washy. I mean, at
Yeah,
one point this season, you could have asked me that midways in the season. I'm saying the Indianapolis Colts win it all. Now I'm
yeah.
looking at it. Later on in the season, I say the LA Rams is a Super Bowl team. Then I look at the Denver Broncos. They lose today to the Jaguars. Are the Jaguars a team this year?
Yeah,
Like, I mean, it's like
that's another team that you can think about.
so. It's like it's so wishy washy right now when it comes to the playoffs. Are going to be fun. The
yeah,
Falcons won't be in it, but DFU will be here to cover it with you. It won't be Falcon content, but it'll be NFL content, and we'll keep it pushing throughout the whole offseason. We'll talk
but
about
we're still gonna
what the
talk about the
Falcons.
Falcons.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be a Kirk Cousins comment every show. There's going to be a QB debacle. So whatever it may be, man, y'all be sure to hit that subscribe button. Whether you're a Falcon fan or just an NFL supporter, be sure to subscribe to DFU. Hit that share button. And guys, we have 38 live viewers right now between Twitter and YouTube and Facebook. Please, please, please head over to YouTube at Dirty Fanatics United. If you don't subscribe, if you don't ring that bell, just hit the like button. Just hit the like. That's all it takes. One simple click. Hit the like. Spread us out to all other NFL content creators, NFL viewers, Falcon fans.
Yeah,
Robert says there's at least 5 new playoff teams
five.
this year. Yeah.
Yeah,
Crazy crazy season, man. It's been a wild ride. And, I say it every year, but Falcons will be back next year, baby. Falcons going to get in there next year. David, we're at our 50-minute mark here for DFU. Falcons fly home with a W. Cardinals recap. Give me a shout-out for tonight, brother. And looks like you're in a hotel room. So if you're headed back tonight or tomorrow, safe travels for you, brother.
Yeah, coming back. We're here till Tuesday.
Okay.
Tournament. The tournament was 3 days, and they can't play on Sunday at the resort for some reason. So, we'll there are 2 more days to the tournament that my daughter's playing in. So we'll had nice couple of vacation days.
Oh yeah.
Relaxing. We was at the sports book a little bit earlier watching the game, and enjoyed that. The first time I've done something like that. New experiences is always good. We'll get back down and enjoy.
So has the
resort.
Has the daughter hit the triple double yet in
Not
the tournament?
No. No. Yep.
What position does your daughter play, David? She center, point guard, shooting guard?
No, she plays forward. Down forward,
okay.
between the small forward and the power forward position. So
love it.
But yeah, so shout out, like I said, I always shout out to the Atlanta Falcons for giving us a reason to come over here and have these discussions. Shout out to the fam for the support. Shout out to good Lord above. That should have been the first one.
Yes,
Say
sir.
that, and then shout out to all the DFU casts that comes out to bring the content to the public and everything. So we'll keep it pushing for you all.
Absolutely. Rise up. Shout out to, as Mr. Davis said, the whole DFU crew here at Dirty Fanatics United. Shout out to my boy Ricky. Shout out to my guy Robert, Sterling Woods, all the viewers today that didn't leave a comment but tuned in tonight. We appreciate you guys. Shout out to the new viewers, Soundwave. Soundwave, if you really want to get on the show, brother, I've already told you what you got to do. Just leave me a comment about the topic you want to chat about. And if it's podcast approval, I'll be sure to drop the link for you to hop on, bro. There's no issue at all with getting you to hop on. It's just more of a security type of thing to protect the show here and protect the viewers listening. Because there is some clowns out there, dog. There is some clowns that'll get on here and act a fool and get the whole podcast brought down. So be sure to leave that comment, dog, and we'll get you in here on a live podcast. That goes for anybody in the viewer section. I'll drop the link if you guys really want to talk Falcon football and get you guys here on the panel with me and David and Cody, Robert, Rick, and Phillip. Whenever they decide to come out of hiding, Phillip's still in hiding. Cody's on a lunch run right now. Rick busy in the new house, and my guy Robert. Prayers out for my guy Robert. If any of you guys in the comment section believe in prayer and play for my guy Robert as he is healing back from his second retina surgery on his eye. Definitely all the thoughts and prayers of my guy Robert. I want to give a shout out to all the new subscribers. Shout out to the Falcons for finding a way to win. It may be an ugly win, but it's a win, and we must ride on out with the W as the Falcons have struggled to find a way to win games and end games this season. So, as always, shout out to the good Lord above for allowing me and David to hop on this podcast tonight and chat for an hour with you dirty birds. Shout out to the daughter, David. I hope the tournament's going great. I hope y'all find y'all's way to that old trophy up there in NC. And shout out to the wife with the kids. I think they're headed to Walmart right now to go get hair dye. So shout out to everybody that tuned in tonight. Shout out to all the viewers. As always, it's your boy Chase and David getting ready to sign us out of here. A-Town down. Rise up. We appreciate y'all. Peace.